Hello, I'm Polly Toner. Welcome to Different Drummers Online. A 2007 Centers for Disease Control study reported a dramatic increase in suicide among teen girls, up 76% in girls ages 10 to 14 and 32% in girls ages 15 to 19. To find out how to keep other young women from following this path, we welcome Jean Malnati, a board member and volunteer at Elyssa's mission, named after a high school student who took her life in 2004. Two of Elyssa's friends are also here with us, Melissa Malnati and Patrick McHugh. Thanks to all of you for being here. Melissa and Patrick, tell us a little bit about Elyssa.
She was a very good friend of ours. She was compassionate and loved to help people in any way possible.
She had these bright blue eyes that, I don't know, would just draw you to her. She was just so loving and caring and was just a great friend.
It sounds like a huge loss. How have you personally been impacted by her death?
When a friend is dealing with something now, I kind of pay more attention to it and not just let it go as if it's not important. Mm-hmm. But since Elyssa's death, it's just really taught me to pay attention to the little things with my friends and maybe ask one more question or do one more thing, take that extra step to help them.
And you started Elyssa's mission? Was that something you all started? Or?
The Myers family, Alyssa's parents did.
Okay.
After Elyssa died, they just decided to try and make good out of this, and the family came together and formed Alyssa's mission and has been in the schools, junior and senior high schools, teaching self-awareness, suicide awareness, prevention. So it's really a wonderful thing.
And on that note, what are some warning signs? What if you are with young people, are there things to look for?
When kids talk about death and they really start to voice their feelings, I think it's definitely a warning sign, and it's good for kids to talk about their feelings, but when they talk about death, I think that is a major warning sign that we saw.
She would cut herself, and she would show me those cuts, and I didn't want her to be mad at me if I said anything.
Right.
But I mean, looking back on it, I obviously should have done something, should have told someone.
She got in an automobile accident from driving really quick a week before she died.
Okay.
She had been walking in front of traffic. And one of the largest areas for teenage suicide is depression, mental illness, and that's often overlooked. And the statistics are 90% of young people who take their lives, they have clinical depression or bipolar disease, and it's mostly gone undiagnosed and then untreated. And so that's just so important to get out to parents, to kids, that it is treatable. It's treatable.
So what should we do if we notice a young person or anybody, I suppose, who's demonstrating these warning signs? What are some action plans?
When we go into the schools, we have three main areas that we teach the kids. One is the warning signs, and so we go over them. If they start giving away possessions, that's something big with the young kids. Their favorite, pair of blue jeans, excuse me, or a piece of jewelry. The second thing we talk about is to tell someone. A young teen wants to believe that they're a good friend, just like Melissa said.
Absolutely.
You don't want to betray your friend, and that makes sense. However, what we do, we go into the schools and say, we just give them permission to tell a responsible adult, tell a mental health professional, your social worker, someone.
Okay.
And then also to care about one another. The golden rule, treat others as you want to be treated.
And listen, it sounds like is part of what you were saying, Melissa.
Right.
I know I've heard concern that if you bring this into the school, there's resistance because we don't want to give kids any ideas. What would you say about educating young people? Do you think you're planting thoughts in their heads, or?
I don't think so. I think it's good to get the word out there because this is a growing problem, especially among teenagers. So I think it's good to make people aware of the warning signs and how they can help others.
What's going on, do you think, in the lives of young people? What are some issues that are making this on the rise?
There's a lot of pressure on young kids, whether it's from parents or their peers. There's a lot of bullying going on in the schools. We were talking about that earlier, and that's something that Elyssa definitely had. There was a young kid. I was a social worker at New Trier when this happened, and a young boy came in the office and had tears in his eyes, and he said, "I think I'm the reason that Elyssa killed herself." And I said, you know, say more. And he told me, he said, I was in the cafeteria a couple months ago, and a couple senior girls came up, and they said, "See Elyssa over there?" They said, "If you go up to her and yell really loud for everyone to hear, 'Everyone hates you, Elyssa,' we'll give you this $10 bill." And he started crying. And he said, and I did. And he said, I can't get the look on her face. So of course he didn't cause that to happen, but that's an example of bullying. And we tell that story to the kids and say, that's not okay.
Right.
It's not okay.
Right.
Also sexual abuse. Elyssa had been sexually abused.
As a parent, do you have any advice to other adults out there of what we can be doing better?
Yeah. I teach a class to moms of teens, and one of the biggest messages is to listen. Listen to our kids. So often we get fearful, we want to control them, or, you know, if they come home and they say something about a friend, so many parents say, "Oh, mind your own business. You know, mind your own business." And it's like, no, we've got to look out for each other's children. And so to really hear what they're saying, be empathic. A breakup with a boyfriend or girlfriend at this age is a big deal. It's a big deal. And so to walk alongside them.
What have you learned about the healing process? It's a lot to go through in high school. What has helped you?
I think for me, one thing that I've learned throughout this whole thing is you just have to love the people that, you know, maybe don't have as many friends, or I don't know, if you're in a class with someone or in a homeroom or something, that someone, you know, isn't as popular, doesn't have as many friends, just to go up to them and have a normal conversation with them, you know, and that could brighten their day. You have no idea what it could do. And so I just learned that even the littlest thing could go a long way and could, you know, turn someone's day around. And
Absolutely.
The easiest thing doesn't.
And you never know how it's going to impact them.
Right.
Anything that's been helpful to you, Patrick?
I think talking about it with all of her friends and family has really made a lot of things better, and it's good to have everyone, you know, voice their opinion and share their feelings. But I definitely agree with Elyssa on you know, reaching out to those who you may see as lonely or sad, or that just need a friend.